Tony. This is your 6 exercises to stabilise your back, the starting points. So, if you lie down, let your back rest, knees bent, support your neck with a slight cushion or something so that your chin is not higher than your nose. So a little bit of a head lift would be nice. Hands down by your sides, focus on your breathing first, just 5 long, slow breaths. We're going to breathe, inhale to the side of your lungs, wide. And as you breathe out, you're flattening or drawing the flesh of your tummy inwards and downwards. So it's wide to the rib cage and narrowing, scooping motion into the tummy. The belly wants to draw down. So breathing in and squashing the tummy to breathe out. Now, you did mention that when you lie down with your knees bent, your back is on the floor. Leave it that way. And you are aiming the abdominals down into the spine, not necessarily moving the spine, focusing on the flesh of the tummy, scooping. Let's do another long breath. I don't want you to get lightheaded. And then squeeze. So now you're going to grab your ball, tuck it, make it quite squashy and small, tuck it underneath the heaviest part of your sacrum where you felt all of your weight. The lift of the ball is going to achieve more movement. So now we are going to continue with the breathing. We are going to focus on pelvic tilting, flattening the flesh of your tummy just like you did with the breathing, and then extending slightly so there's an arch under your back. And then again, squeezing, narrowing down through the ribs, and then extending slightly to arch the spine some way from the floor. Breathe out. I'm going to do a good sort of, again, 5, 6 sets. So up, down, or forward, back. Breathe out to scoop hollow and squeeze into the tummy. Breathe in to lengthen. 2 more. And in, so wide shoulders. Your head will be facing the ceiling after you know that, or if you can do it with my voice only. Then you're going to carry on with that pelvic scooping, keeping the tummy down. See if you can lift off and then settle back down to release. So that's going to be your first 3 or 4, and maybe the first day or so, 3 or 4 days, you're just doing this. So we're going to call this bridging. When you are comfortable, you can take the ball away and slowly roll the spine down. If you could think of that segmental movement. So we're hollowing through the front of the tummy, lengthening the spine along the ground and trying to pick up from the tailbone upwards, making sure that the abdominals stay braced, that you're not relaxing up to the ceiling. Keep them flat and then low down. Again, 5 or 6, you're never going to do loads. Arching the spine slightly when you're on the floor, if you can see that, and then flattening the back to lift away from the ground into your bridge. Rolling down bit by bit, releasing the back slightly, and then going back into it. So there's your bridging pattern. So moving on from after that one, roll sideways, grab the foam roller, place it lengthways, and you're going to sit right on the very edge. So if you're reclining, your tailbone, it's like your bottom is almost off the end. Then lay down bit by bit and let your shoulders roll either side of the foam roller. So here's where we are. You're letting your shoulders release and the draping pattern happen around the back of your shoulders. Tailbone heavy, little bit of a gap possibly felt in the middle of your back, and your head right in the centre. And again, like I say, hopefully you can do this with my spoken word. Arms down by your sides. You will naturally have had a nice firm wide base. So the first thing you want to do is assess that base pattern and walk your feet until hopefully you're hip width apart. Hands by your sides, feet wide as your hips, but not turned out. So parallel is what I'm looking at. Just hold the flesh of your tummy down and focus on trying to lift one arm and then the other arm. So we're just starting with the single arms. And then that lift of your arm is just going to get bigger and bigger until you can lift a little bit higher away from you. So you might find from here on in you need to take this at your own time. This is just to remind you of the exercises. Once you feel you can get your arm quite high overhead, you're going to start to circle it around the outside. And this is your first go-to, is the single arms and the circling. So let's fast forward 1 week. Forget this if this is your first day and you're just having a look. Fast forward 1 week, you'll be able to get both arms up if you've done it daily. And then you're just going to start a small circular motion down by your sides. So that will go on for a couple of days, if you do it every morning. And then fast forward 2 weeks, you'll be circling all the way around with a control around your ribs and your hips. Breathing in, up and around. So this is going to be your 2 to 3 week goal. Knees nice and steady. Once you can do that happily, you then bring your feet together, but let's not worry about that just yet. So that was your 2 and 3 week mark. After you've done your balancing, you're going to roll sideways. This is the good bit. I'm not going to put this in the video. You just lie there for a minute at least. After your nice, relaxed, slow breathing, you turn around and your final movement is your quadruped, which is hands under shoulders, knees under hips, so your knees are a little bit out. Shoulder blades drawing away from your ears, and just draw the flesh of your tummy up into the spine. Don't move the spine. We're not doing cat stretches and movement, we're doing stabilizing. From there, you're holding everything strong and you're just doing legs extension, one leg each, and then arm extensions, lifts, one arm each. And you can do a couple of rounds of those. So a couple of rounds of just one leg, one arm. Keeping a controlled feeling in your tummy. Imagining that you've got a sort of a tabletop base up here and there's something balanced on your shoulders and your hips. So when you feel comfortable, a couple of days, a week, here's your fast forward 1 week, you're going to see if you can just balance. It does not have to be right up here. The focus is on the stillness of the spinal column. So one leg, opposite arm. And eventually you want to be able to find that position where you can hold it, breathing 5 continual breaths. And then if your knees are good, comfortable to do so, you sit backwards, drop your elbows, drop your forehead, and then you stay for a breath or two before it's all over. See you soon.